Hey everyone, and welcome to our Champions Dominate analysis. I'm your host Malfunction, and today we're analyzing the Ranger class. Let's get started. Ranger is considered by many to be the class with the highest skill cap. In this video, we will give an overview of the class with pros and cons, and explain some of its most popular builds. Class Overview. As the name suggests, Ranger is the class with the most range when it comes to damage. Combined with its high damage per second, when used effectively, Ranger can be very valuable both on the ground and way up high. Just like every class, a Ranger has many obstacles it faces in a game. For example, it's a squishy class, and because of this, it's often targeted by assassins and brutes. Dealing with pressure while being able to dish out high damage across the map is pretty difficult. While slight variations in class builds can change this, it's still something to keep in mind every time you pick up the class. Moving on to pros and cons, the pros are 1. Biggest capacity to input ranged damage. The reason Rangers are a main priority to take out in the enemy team is because of how much damage they deal while being far away from the action. Number 2 is high mobility. When caught in a close fight, disengage is always your friend. Likewise, when looking for a high location to shoot from, pounce and roped arrow are a big help. Number 3, spacing and zoning. Rangers have good options to zone out enemies and distance themselves from PvP. For example, skills like Napalm Shot and Explosive Arrow help you push the enemy away and cause significant damage. The cons are 1. High pressure. As mentioned before, Rangers are constantly dealing with pressure from the enemy team due to their range damage skills. Number 2. Hardest class to pick up. It takes a good amount of map knowledge and game sense to be able to deal with the pressure a Ranger does. Good bow aim is very crucial for Rangers, which is another task pretty difficult to master. Number 3 is lack of hard crowd control. Ranger has some tools such as pin down and barbed arrows to deal slowness, but they've never been strong or viable in close encounters. The best crowd control mechanism a Ranger has right now is Explosive Arrow. Let's move into the builds. Ranger builds are mostly based around passive B skills like Long Shot, Sharpshooter, and Heavy Arrows. Build number 1. This is the most standard and popular build for Ranger. Wolf Pounce 4, Agility 1, Roped Arrow 1, Long Shot 3, and Breakfall 3. A common customization is swapping Agility for Overcharge 1. Both Wolf Pounce 4 and Breakfall 3 help you with getting up and down from a peak, and Long Shot 3 nails home that high damage from far away. Build number 2. This build isn't as popular nor standard as the Long Shot build, but it's great for flat maps such as Amazon. Disengage 2, Agility 1, Explosive Arrow 2, Vitality 1, Sharpshooter 3, and Resistance 3. With Sharpshooter 3, you want to deal the most damage possible in a close encounter. Resistance 3 helps you counteract your biggest enemy, the Assassin. Res 3 basically negates their Smoke Bomb, Illusion Slowness, and Smoke Arrow. If you're running this kit on Twin Peaks, you might want to swap for Breakfall instead, but Explosive Arrow 2 is still extremely good for zoning. When it comes to the inventory, many Rangers run Power Sword, Iron Axe, 2 Soups, and 3 stacks of arrow and a bow. If you're feeling adventurous, you could use webs in the build. Build number 3. This is a pretty rare build used by very few players, but it's still very strong in its own style. Heavy Arrows 3, Pin Down 4, Vitality Spores 3, and Breakfall 2. Pin Down lets you slow down the advance of an enemy player, making time for you to run to safety or let your teammates take the kill. Vitality Spores regenerates your health after a few seconds of taking damage, which means less of a need for soups. This synergizes well with Heavy Arrows, since you'll be forced to give up almost all of your hotbar slots for arrow stacks. Breakfall 3 is obviously a must-have in this build, considering you'll be moving around a lot in the air. If you happen to hit a wrong shot, Breakfall has your back. This concludes our second episode of DOM Analysis. Drop a comment down below and let us know what kit we should analyze next. As always, you can keep up with us on Twitter at MPC League, or you can visit our website at mpcleague.com. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Malfunction, and I'll see you next week.